If walls could whisper, this cemetery would scream. Just steps away from the noise of Bourbon Street, beyond the music and neon lights, lies a city of the dead unlike anywhere else in America. St. Louis Cemetery. Number 1 is not just a burial ground. It is a maze of stone tombs, sealed vaults, fading names, and stories that refuse to stay buried. Established in 1789, it is the oldest surviving cemetery in New Orleans. Unlike most American graveyards, there are no deep graves here. The water table is too high. When it rains, the ground floods.
Good, now the next one.
So the dead were placed above
Heavy
ground,
rain floods the soil,
inside
causing
elaborate
water to
tombs and
pool
wall
and create
vaults.
puddles. This is why
Over
burials
time,
were often built
the
above
cemetery became a
ground.
Welcome
miniature
everyone,
stone
I'm your
city.
licensed guide. Please stay
Narrow
together as we
pathways,
begin.
crumbling
This way to the main
mausoleums,
hall. Feel free to ask
centuries
questions.
of history stacked on top of itself. From above, it looks almost orderly. From inside, it feels like a labyrinth. And within that labyrinth rests one of the most legendary figures in American folklore. Her name was Marie Laveau. Known as the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, she was a real historical figure who lived in the 19th century. A free woman of color, hairdresser to wealthy families, spiritual leader, community figure, and to some, something far more mysterious. Her tomb is one of the most visited graves in the United States. Visitors still come searching for it. Some leave flowers, some leave coins. Others draw 3 X marks on the stone, believing it grants a wish if you knock 3 times and make a request.
But unity is our true
Official
strength.
historians
Have
say
faith.
many of these rituals were amplified later through tourism and folklore. Yet the practice continues, and the tomb never seems to escape damage. For decades, people covered it in graffiti, scratched symbols into the plaster, chipped pieces away as souvenirs. In recent years, preservation efforts have increased, and access to the cemetery is now restricted to guided tours. Why? Because St. Louis Cemetery Number 1 is fragile, and because it carries too much history to be reduced to superstition. But the legends persist. Some claim to see figures moving between tombs at dusk. Others report sudden cold spots in the suffocating Louisiana heat. Photographs sometimes capture strange shadows that weren't visible to the naked eye.
This stone
There is
circle
no
dates back over
scientific proof
3,000
of hauntings
years.
here.
It was used for ancient rituals
Yet there
and
is
gatherings.
atmosphere.
Amazing.
Indeed.
Heavy, silent, almost watchful. The cemetery is also the resting place of Homer Plessy, whose Supreme Court case in 1896 helped shape decades of American segregation laws. His tomb sits quietly among the others, a reminder that this cemetery holds not just ghost stories, but turning points in U.S. history. And then there are the tombs that don't seem to belong
Gentlemen,
to
the
anyone.
evidence is clear. I agree,
Vaults
the law
sealed
is
for
unequivocal.
centuries,
Very well. Let
names
the
worn
sentence
away
be
by
recorded.
time, doors cracked open just enough to make you wonder. Burial practices here were different. Families reused tombs. After a year and a day, remains were placed deeper inside to make room for the next coffin. Generations layered together in sun-warmed stone chambers.
Hello? Is anyone there?
It is practical,
I need to be quiet
historical,
here.
logical. And yet, walking those narrow paths feels anything but logical. The air is still. Sound seems muted. The bright Louisiana sun reflects off white plaster, forcing your eyes to narrow. Every turn reveals another aging monument, another cross, another sealed door. Tour guides speak quietly here. Even skeptics lower their voices. St. Louis Cemetery Number 1 has survived fires, hurricanes,
This stone circle
floods,
dates back over
vandalism,
3,000
and time
years. It
itself.
was used for ancient
It
rituals
remains
and
one of the
gatherings.
most photographed
Indeed.
cemeteries in America. A place where history, myth, architecture, religion, and folklore collide. It is not abandoned, it is not forgotten. And it is not just a tourist stop. It is a reminder that New Orleans was built on layers of culture, tragedy, resilience, and belief. Some come searching for ghosts. Some come searching for history.
Gentlemen, the
Most
evidence is
leave with
clear.
questions.
I agree, the law is
Because in this
unequivocal.
cemetery,
Very well. Let
the line
sentence
between
be
fact
recorded.
and legend is thin. And when the gates close in the late afternoon and the last tour group steps back into the noise of the French Quarter, the stone city remains behind. Silent, waiting, And if you stand there long enough, surrounded by centuries of names carved in fading letters, you begin to understand why people say New Orleans never lets its past rest, especially not here. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments what fascinated you the most and what would you like us to explore next.